through your freedom.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Prepared Mind channel. We're on the backup to the backup to the backup of the backup channel. And yes, the attack is huge, folks. What is going on out there is astounding. Everything we've been talking about is coming true. Now, what's amazing to me is everyone said, you guys, that's right, not just me, but you guys are conspiracy theorists. You guys don't have a grasp on reality. Well, I think you do have a good grasp on it. And I think the reality they thought they were holding, that is the rest of the world, is like sands through the hourglass, just draining out of their little paws. Folks, now that doesn't mean we've won, because we haven't. We are winning little battles here and there, and we need to keep fighting those little battles, right? Sharing this internet address, telling people to wake up, telling people, you think it's a good idea to get prepared? Take a look at what's happening. There's a lot of topics out here which need a lot of attention. There's conspiracy theories, real ones. There's conspiracy facts, lots of real ones. Tying it all together. The left is being exposed. The rats are fleeing the sinking ship. The political fossils are falling by the wayside, literally falling down and hurting themselves. Joe Biden getting lost. Hunter Biden needs to be indicted. Wow, what a world. I hope you've got food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and your plan. Good God, what a mess. The rsyndicate.com, folks. Go there. The rsyndicate.com. Maybe Uman can put it up in the bubble down below here. If he does, that's your secret escape, folks. That's your way back out of the hellish idiocracy and back down the rabbit hole to intelligent thought. We could get completely wiped off. We could get completely wiped off of internet, Yahoo, YouTube, Google, everywhere. And the rsyndicate.com, I think since he doesn't really say much there, he's a pretty safe backup bet for finding those people that are getting kicked off the internet. Anyways, yeah, we need a longer, stronger, bigger, badder approach to this. And I think one of the ways we do that is by maintaining the attitude and the belief that we are correct, that we're the good ones, that we are right, that we are decent people, and everyone in Washington, D.C. is the exact opposite. Now, D.C. actually now includes more than just Washington, D.C. D.C. includes the deep state. D.C. includes the deep state. D.C. includes the military. D.C. includes the jacked up legal system. And D.C. includes, folks, the jacked up educational system from K through 12 all the way into the university system. That is D.C. It is now a Leviathan with its tentacles reaching out. And boy, do we have our hands full. I want to start with this one because I found this very fascinating, very interesting, kind of shocking. But, you know, it's just right up there with the thinking of people who don't see a real problem with what's going on. Everyone should know who Joe Rogan is, an extremely popular, extremely powerful podcast dude, right? He's one of these younger guys that has an open mind and likes to look at things, right? And sometimes he has really good shows, and sometimes I go, what the fuck is he talking about? Joe Rogan, folks, on his show, drank a Bud Light and defended Bud Light. That's right. Here's what Joe Rogan said. I'm going to give you the statement, and then we'll have some thoughts on it. He stated, quote, what they, meaning Bud Light, are doing is just spreading the brand to an extra group of people. An extra group. an extra group that has demanded everyone accept them, an extra group that is mentally deranged, an extra group. It's an extra group of immoral scumbags who are ruining sports, who are ruining school, who are ruining everything they touch, including politics and the economy. Yes, this extra group has infiltrated the boardrooms of corporations, and guess who is pushing it? The financial banking system. That is finance, investment, and banking. And they're pushing this extra group right down everyone's throats. And if the extra group had their way, it would be going into your anal canal. Now, what they are doing is just spreading the brand to an extra group of people. So queers, gays, trans, all names they use to refer to themselves. They can't respond to normal, yes, normal advertising. Someone who is in the LGBTQ group can't look at a beer commercial where someone's drinking a cold beer and say, you know, I'm kind of thirsty and I think that beer would hit the spot. But before I buy it, there's got to be a complete retard on the can. And they need to have TV commercials that are inviting me, one of the less than 1% fruitcakes out there, right, to join. And I want that commercial that not only invites me, but it has to insult everyone else and their intelligence and their morals. They're so special. They need to be on everyone else's cans. You know, just like sports, folks. This extra group should have their own sports league. And for beer, let Budweiser market to them through their dumbass social media sites and not on the television. Because these special people, this extra group, they don't watch normal TV. No, they do not. They watch their own channel. That's right. They've got their own channels on TV, on satellite, right? Go ahead and try to watch MTV. There hasn't been music on there in 30 fucking years, but try watching MTV and you'll see who these people are. That's their channel. Let them advertise there. They should hold up a regular can of Budweiser and go, this is Budweiser, but we want you fruitcakes to drink it too. So, you know, try it, right? They have to have their face on every fucking can, right? Budweiser has lost billions of dollars in value. And Joe Rogan says, what they are doing is just spreading the brand to an extra group of people. No, they've pissed on, and alienated millions and millions and millions and millions of normal, hetero, normal people. In other words, quit shoving it in our faces, right? Buck Fudd and Buck Fiden. Yeah, fuck them. You want to make that decision? They've lost. Screw off. Go to hell. Get your own stuff. Get out of our face. Get out of our world, right? I've had it. Now, I'm going to go down the world of beer. Growing up, there was a beer called Schlitz Malt Liquor, and it was advertised to the black community. And so growing up, I thought, well, that's their beer. But it wasn't like the black community was anything bad. It was just a different community. They didn't take, it's just ridiculous. In fact, I want to continue with this in a little bit of a different light. I don't want to let these people off the hook, folks. I don't. I got in trouble for harassing certain special groups. See, they're so weak intellectually and emotionally. They're so fucking weak that they have to have a safe space. That nobody is allowed to criticize them or talk about them unless they suck up to them and kiss their asses. Right? The marketing vice president for Budweiser, the woke idiot. Number one, she looks like a trans man tranning into a woman. She trashed the old Budweiser, Bud Light commercials and the customers who drink that beer and hold that brand up. She called them fratty, meaning, you know, it's got like frat house humor. Well, guess what turned up? A bunch of pictures of her acting like a complete fucking moron, acting fratty, or maybe sorority. Boy, I've seen some videos of what goes on in sororities. Those girls have nothing to be proud of. There's porn stars that watch what goes on in sororities these days and blush. Look out. This young crowd, folks. Now, I want to back up again. Budweiser, do you think you can compete with Truly? Do you think you can compete with White Claw? Do you think you can compete with these seltzer drinks? Now, this is what gets me is Budweiser has complete and total access to this market. Don't fuck up Budweiser and Bud Light. Go make another fruitcake drink and put it in fruitcake colored cans. And the fruitcakes will have an opportunity to buy it. Let's see who else is doing that. Let's see. You have Mike's, Jack Daniels, Seagram's. There's a lot of companies that are marketing to this group, but instead they want to take the number two, the iconic beer of Budweiser. You got Bud and Bud Light, and they want to take it down the woke road to destruction. Well, they got their wish. They took it down that road, and it almost seems like their wish is to destroy everything. By the way, this is the Prepared Mind channel. We're on the backup to the backup to the backup. I recommend you subscribe here. Bink. I recommend you thumb it up. Bink. Right? And hit the notification bell. Bam. Because I don't know if the other channels are going to be removed by YouTube in this social media information psychological war. I don't know. I don't know. See, they want to silence you. They want to silence me. But they want to let other people get away with intellectual murder. The professor who authored racism. That's right. He has a racism studies course, right? He basically kind of walked out because he was accused of faking data. Where have we heard this before? He faked his data, huh? Is that faked the same way critical race theory faked history and then forced kids to accept it through their curriculum that they jam down everyone's throats? Then anti-European, anti-white, anti-civilization agenda. This is a war, folks. There's a real war that's being tuned up. There's a political war that is being tuned up. It's SHTF. It truly is, folks. And it's big, big trouble. Now, it's interesting to me, and yes, by the way, get your questions into the comment section so Ooman can scoop them up. We've got people leaving office, folks. I think the Republican Party is getting ready for Turtles Mitch McConnell to leave, to resign, to quit, to go away. Senator Feinstein said, hey, put someone else on the committee for me until I return, if I return. Yeah, we got that. Then we got Uncle Festerman, the senator. Is he going to return with his mental illness that the mentally ill in the Democrat Party say needs to be in the U.S. Senate? Well, if we have a need to have everyone equally represented by their social designation or their medical condition, where's the Alzheimer's candidate? Oh wait, maybe that was Feinstein. Where's the paraplegic senator? Where's the triple amputee senator? Where's the mega stroke brain damage? Oh wait, we already do. That is Festerman. Right? How about people who should be in the Senate with other conditions and other races and other genders and other everything, right? No, that's not what the political system is supposed to be. It's not supposed to be representative of people's little special interest groups. It's supposed to be representative of the people, period. The culture of freedom and Americanism. Anyways. Yeah, these people are leaving. The rats are jumping the ship or retiring off the ship. I think they know that they've caused enough damage, and I think they want to get away now. Now, this Ukraine, folks, there's a lot of leaked information, classified documents that have been showing the world exactly what is going on over in Ukraine. In fact, some documents that were leaked out today showed that Ukraine is losing, which causes us to go, hey, I thought Secretary of Defense Lloyd the Loser Austin said we were winning. He lied. I thought Joint Chiefs of Staff Chairman General Millie Vanilli, I thought he said we were winning, and we're not. We, meaning the United States, backing Ukraine. So General Millie Vanilli lied. Anyways, they found the person who leaked the documents, folks. And apparently he's been arrested. And he is an Air National Guardsman. How did an Air National Guardsman get secret, top secret, classified documents that only the Joint Chiefs of Staff and the Secretary of Defense and the White House have? Could it be that Biden was walking down the road with a box of this stuff, saw a couple little girls, dropped the box and ran over to sniff and touch them? Well, by the way, that's exactly what he's doing over in Ireland. He ran on over to a little group of girls who were doing some sort of Gaelic exercise, cultural thing, and wanted to be with them. That's our president. The fucking pedophile. Unbelievable. Anyways, the guy who was arrested, the Air National Guardsman, the New York Times made it to his house before the feds could get there to arrest him. Did somebody leak the name and location of this guy so that the media could be there to snap pictures? Why is the government so slow that they can't beat the media? Why is it good for Biden to have documents and leak them? Why is it good for the Supreme Court to have documents and leak them? But, well, Trump isn't even allowed to have documents, and he wasn't leaking. It's not good for an Air National Guardsman to leak information showing how the government is lying to us. Now, I understand wanting to put a good spin on things, but lying to us. And a whole lot of other information has been leaked about this war, folks. About this war. Let me give you for example. Everyone knows Ukraine is corrupt, or they should. It is a filthy cesspool of corruption. So Seymour Hersh, who is also the gentleman saying the Joe Biden administration is responsible for the Nord Stream pipeline terror attack that has cost Europe over $500 billion in increased energy costs so far. He's now reporting that Ukraine's leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, the little man himself, claiming he embezzled $400 million. And not only did he do that, but he did that. He pulled that money from U.S. payments that were allocated for fuel. My question is, how did Seymour Hersh get this? How was it leaked? Who leaked it? Why did they leak it? It's interesting to me, folks. Follow the money. And I really do doubt that Zelensky embezzled $400 million. It's more likely $4 billion for himself. I'm sure he's trying to feather his nest before the whole world realizes what a fucking fraud he is. And the hits just keep on coming. Are you prepared? Taiwan, China, Japan, and North Korea. Stuff is going on, folks. If you want to talk about it, ask your questions. And there are a lot of questions to ask. Some seem absolutely outrageous, do they not? Do they not? It seems outrageous to read and discuss the things in a satirical version that I am, right? Like this. China released documents, proof, evidence that millions of dollars were paid from a Chinese business to Hunter Biden. That's right, folks. China wants the world to see Hunter Biden accepting money. How interesting is that? Folks, the American system is collapsing. It's disintegrating. It's falling apart, piece by piece. Washington, D.C. is being shown to be an absolute shithole. It's worse than a swamp. It's worse than a cesspool. It's worse than a just fetid, rotting pile of garbage. The world sees it. And they're looking at Russia and China and Brazil and India, the BRICS system, and saying, maybe we want to be part of that. Because at least they're doing business in an upfront way. Not a bunch of shady behind the scenes shitting on each other. Wow. But here we are, folks. And you and I, we can't control our government. It is absolutely out of control. Absolutely out of control. Nancy Pelosi, remember that one? Eric Holder giving weapons to Mexican drug cartels. Drug cartels. Ooh, man, I think I heard something about drug cartels and maybe Biden. Do we have anything on that we want to discuss at this particular moment? I saw an article today on that alone. And there it is, Heidi. She brought it up as well. Let's just keep that right there for a moment. Yeah. Where did I see that? We're just going to hold that there. I did see it. And Heidi says, I want to see if John has heard anything about Biden being indicted for colluding with the Mexican cartels in child trafficking. She said she heard something about that on Epoch TV this morning. I heard about that as well. I caught a little blip. It seems really, really far-fetched. I don't know who would indict Biden, who has the authority to do that. I certainly think it would be a good idea to indict Biden for his crimes. I don't know if he is a child trafficking person. I don't know where these documents are. It sounds very much like a conspiracy theory. So I won't repeat it as if it were fact, but I'll say that's very interesting. It wouldn't surprise me, but it would be shocking if the revelations were true. I kept hearing that Trump was going to be indicted every day that he was president as well. Now, we do know that the Bidens deal in an underhanded fashion. Joe himself sat on a stage in front of God and the world and the public, was recorded saying that he told Ukraine that the United States government would withhold money until they stopped their investigation of Hunter on the Burisma Energy Board. And they did stop, and then Biden gave them their money. That seems so ridiculous to hear. So outlandish and outrageous that you're like, that's bullshit. Yet, I've seen the video. And we have a lot of other evidence beside. Now, Christine, thank you very much, Heidi. Great topic. And I will be watching. And I would also be hoping, but I will not hold my breath, that Biden will be indicted. I've got a video that was sent to me. Trans teacher threatens to shoot his students. If I just read that to you at any other time, you would think, oh, that sounds outrageous. Unbelievable, John. That's a conspiracy theory. Yet what have we seen and heard from the trans community lately? Murder, murder, murder. Go after kids, go after Christians. Seems to be what they're all about now. All about that. So is that surprising? I think it is surprising, but it's also very believable because we've had various teachers doing the most outrageous shit. Outrageous shit. Having children, that is to say students, fighting in their classroom. You bet. You bet. It's happening. They're doing it, folks. Having kids fight in their classroom like it's a fight club. How does that make a lick of sense, right? Well, I mean, here's another one. Up in Canada, the school board's trans and gender diverse student support coordinator. What a title. How do they even fit that on a business card? The trans and gender diverse student support coordinator. Gender diverse? What the fuck does that mean? Anyways, this person tweeted that Jesus was a drag queen on Good Friday. Totally, the glib approach that these morons take to examining other other cultures and historical events, it's frighteningly sophomoric. If you were to go down into, say, Northern Africa, you would see men wearing garments that have sleeves for their arms to poke out, a hole for their head to poke out of, and they run these garments from their shoulders all the way to their knees and often to their feet. It is part of their culture and part of their dress. Northern Africa, throughout the Middle East and Arab countries, that is the way people dress. In the Bible, Jesus is described as dressing, in certain garments. So these fruitcakes take that as an opportunity to say, see, Jesus was a drag queen. So what she's actually saying is Jesus put a bunch of makeup on his face to look like a frickin' clown, a whorish clown. And then what? Then he exposed himself to children? Is that what they're saying? What a drag queen is not a man wearing a culturally proper garment. But that's how they think in their head. That's how literally retarded they are, folks. And again, the danger, the threat that I see is that that's how these people think. That is precisely what they think, and they're willing to act violently on it. Violently. Joe Rogan saying, oh, it's just some extra people. The fuck it is. Look at where we've gone, folks. There is going to be hell to pay, and I mean that in a very literal sense, for what these idiots are doing to this country. The backlash that is coming, I tell you what, it's going to happen. And guess what? I am going to enjoy every single moment. I'm going to enjoy every single moment of retribution that is paid on these people. From Budweiser and what it gets, to Dick's, to every store, every corporation, every clothing line, every politician, every fruitcake out there on the news and media who has pushed this garbage. I can't wait to see what happens to them. Tired of it, folks. I think the rest of the country is sick and tired of their shit too. I won't apologize for them being fruitcakes. That's their problem, not mine. Why should I accept them? The problem is theirs. Everyone knows that they have their own problems. And everyone should recognize that it's not our duty to pretend like they're normal so that they feel good about themselves. They're not normal. They're not. Right? They're not. Oh, yes. Leaked military slideshow. Oh, our government loves to lie about everything. Oh, by the way, I haven't done a whole lot of take a wild guess lately. So I wanted to give you a little bit of that. Let's take a little wild guess, shall we? Let's do it. Let's reach down into the Pfizer files and see what's there. A lot of you are probably familiar with the actor Jamie Foxx. He's been hospitalized, folks, due to a mystery medical emergency. Now, why would they characterize his hospitalization that way? I mean, normally you say, hey, had a heart attack, or hey, had an anxiety attack, or hey, I fell down the stairs. But to say that it's a mystery medical emergency, aren't doctors supposed to be in place? I mean, they used to be, so they could tell you what's wrong with you. I mean, we've got WebMD and a bunch of medical websites where you plug in your symptoms and they tell you exactly what's going on. I'm wondering, though, if I put in the symptom, short of breath, left arm hurts, right? Chest hurts, dizzy, lightheaded, weak. Is it going to come back that I potentially have cardiac arrest issues? But it's not going to diagnose what the cause is. Okay, we don't know what the cause is of Jamie Foxx's sudden medical mysterious illness, but don't you think they could tell us what's going on? Or do you think they're afraid that you're going to know? Like this former National Hockey League player, dead, folks, age 38, dead from a heart attack. As soon as I say that, and the fact that he's a super athlete and only 38 years old, died from a heart attack, didn't just feel bad for a day, died, dead. Take a wild guess, folks. It's not over. Even though the president signed a piece of paper saying the emergency is over, all the damage that's done out there is not over. Not by a long shot. And don't worry, they now have precedent. They have precedent. They have precedent. You betcha. For saying, well, we're going to have to redo the emergency. It's back. It's back. Wow. I mean, I've got this here from Mr. Skylight, huge supporter of the Prepared Mind channel. He says a United Kingdom oncologist is warning folks that cancer is rapidly developing after people take the Jim Jones juice. You betcha, folks. It's still going on out there. And thank you, Mr. Skylight, for sending me so much valuable information. But you know, the whole Jim Jones juice thing, I want you guys to cast your mind in the direction, and yes, we will get to your questions. Cast your mind to the history. Trump was president, and we were told, good golly, we have this awful disease, cerveza bug, and we need to get a solution to it right away before someone just might actually almost get sick from it. And so they say, we're going to do Operation Warp Speed, and we're going to get a fix for this, which, of course, actually is a bunch of crap, folks. It takes years and years and years of research to come up with a solution to these medical problems in the way of a vaccine. But lo and behold, it has come out, folks. The Russian Duma has put out a report. Thousands of Ukrainians, folks, that's right, were treated like guinea pigs. Remember all those labs that are over there in Ukraine? Well, Russia, and you can choose to believe or not believe this. You could say, this is down the rabbit hole conspiracy theory. It's a bunch of Russian hoo-ha. Or you could say, well, every time I turn around, these conspiracy theories are coming true. So why should I doubt this? They're saying at least 20 people died from testing. Is that believable? Yeah, thousands have died from the Jim Jones juice. I think they had this, folks, and they've been developing it over in Ukraine, and they tested it on people and found, yeah, it's deadly, it doesn't work, it does this, it does that, but, right, they got it tuned in. Now, this story sounds very familiar. right? Russian Duma. This is the report. Quote, at least 4,000 Ukrainians, mostly military personnel. Who did Biden force to take the Jim Jones juice here? That's right, the military. At least 4,000 Ukrainians, mostly military personnel, became experimental guinea pigs as part of American research into dangerous pathogens. Is this story real? Well, the story is real. Is it factually correct and accurate? You get to decide. And let us continue with the Duma's report. In the Kharkiv, you've heard that name, right? Kharkiv? Yeah, lots of fighting going on there. In the Kharkiv biolaboratory alone, about 20 soldiers of the armed forces of Ukraine died during experiments. Didn't we say that this was an experimental Jim Jones juice and you don't have to take it, but you have to take it and you better take it and our patience is wearing thin? 20 died during the experiment. 200 were hospitalized. And the Russian Duma is saying that these United States labs tested unlicensed pharmaceuticals on the military. One of the goals, it stated, was to create viruses by means of directed evolution. We've heard that phrase. That's right, Dr. Fauci, gain of function research, Wuhan lab, directed evolution. That was one of the goals, and to study how the local inhabitants reacted to certain pathogens. Once again, test subjects, test communities. They saw what happened. They must have come to a conclusion and said, this is great. Those labs in Ukraine, folks, have been there since at least 2014. At least 2014, when Volodymyr Zelensky took over as leader for Ukraine, after the CIA helped overthrow the legitimate government of Ukraine. And folks, the government of Ukraine was corrupt before the CIA took over. That's what made it easy and likely that they could. It became easy and likely that they could. So they did. Right? If you saw, just get this in your mind. If you were a criminal and you saw a armored car, right? One of these armored trucks that takes money to banks. If you saw them open the back door and you saw all kinds of little bags of money in there, and you thought, man, that looks like they're not paying attention. Remember, you're criminal minded here. You would be like, well, I'm going to follow this truck around, and when the opportunity presents itself, I'm going to steal some money out of the back of that truck. That's what the CIA does, folks. They look around, they find easy targets, and then they victimize them. Hello, Ukraine. You don't have to believe me, folks. You can doubt me all day long. It doesn't hurt my feelings. You can accept the truth that people like Lloyd Austin, the Secretary of Defense, or General Milli Vanilli, what he has to say. You can believe them. You can believe Joe Biden. You can believe Chris Wray and the FBI. Or you can believe your own thoughts. Oh, man, I think we need to do this. We're going to do the Inner Circle, and this is brand new coming from Mr. T. Monday through Friday, you guys are the Inner Circle because you're on the preparedmind.club and you are on subscribestar.com. Those are the great ways to get on live with me on a daily basis and talk about what happens on a daily basis as we get prepared to ride out SHTF. And I don't know, what's your opinion? Are you guys looking forward to the payback that all these fruitcakes are going to get? I'm curious. All right, man, let's do some questions, though. We got lots to talk about. We got Charles Gentry who says, just saw on another YouTube channel that there is a 2 to 3-week delay in silver to the dealers in Alaska. That's interesting. Folks, there is a big problem going on out there. The wealthy, the rich, the powerful corporations, and the banks, they are buying up massive amounts of gold and silver. They're also buying up massive amounts of zinc and copper and cobalt. They're buying all they can, folks. They want real stuff. A bottle of scotch is real. An IOU from the store saying, we'll get you your bottle of scotch maybe when we feel like it. That is not real. That's an IOU. It's an IOU. So right now, folks, the people investing in Wall Street in gold and silver, they're buying IOUs. People on the street like me and you who want to buy coins, good luck finding them. In Alaska, a 2 to 3 week delay sounds believable. It's happening elsewhere as well. To give you an idea of what's going on, the lack of trust in Wall Street and the lack of trust in the US dollar, if you want to buy an American Silver Eagle, a 1 ounce coin. Now, of course, I always keep in my presence the 1 ounce USMC coin. It's not a sovereign coin. It's what's called a round, but that's 1 ounce of real silver. If you want to buy an American mint, right? Government-backed American Silver Eagle, 1 ounce. Well, the 1 ounce price on Wall Street for an ounce of silver is $25 and some change. If you want to buy one of those from SD Bullion, you're going to pay almost double what the so-called market price is. The premiums, folks, are 80%, closing in on 100%. There's a shortage. There's difficulty getting it. And the trust in the system, that is to say the government, not in creating the coin, but the trust in the dollar and the trust in the investment world. No one trusts and believes that shit. So people aren't giving up their silver coins and their gold coins without putting a huge premium on there. Makes it difficult to buy, makes it expensive to buy too. You want to buy silver, you're going to pay almost double. $25 for an ounce of silver. Well, if you buy a coin, it's going to cost you $35 to $45. And it's just going to get worse, folks. They're draining the real money, the real gold. They're draining it from the investment houses. And they're continuing to sell lots of paper. Interesting topic. Stay tuned. There'll be more on that as well. Ooh, man, who do we want to bring up next? We've got From D at the Club. Says, dude, Sunday AM. China is closing down airspace over Taiwan. Airspace. That includes, I'm sure, commercial flights, military flights. D says, why? Why would they do that? So they can bomb it? Sunday AM is Saturday AM Eastern Standard Time. And Newman says, it's finally here. Things will deteriorate quickly. Google it. Closing of airspace is public knowledge. Their excuse is space debris is coming down. Right. He says, I'm not fucking stupid. Is this a conspiracy theory, Uman? Let's get you up on the board, man. There you are.
No, that was the continuation of D's statement.
Oh, okay.
You know I don't believe that shit.
D said it's finally here. Things will deteriorate quickly. Google it. Closing of airspace is public knowledge. They've been threatening to invade Taiwan for such a long time, man. Could it happen?
Anything could happen, but will it happen?
Is it going to happen? I don't know.
No, I don't know. I mean, anytime anybody puts a date to something like this, never happens.
Right.
If they say it's going to happen tomorrow enough times, sooner or later, they're going to be right.
Yeah. My thing with it is China's been threatening it a long time. A long time. At some point, right, the big kids on the block start throwing punches. I don't think that China believes America is weak enough to start doing what they want. I just don't believe it's coming, not yet. But it's possible. Right? I don't believe that it's space debris is the excuse.
Yeah, I don't know what the excuse is, and I'm not paying attention to noise like that. I'm trying to keep my eye on the 30,000-foot view and not all these little events that everybody keeps predicting and panicking and screaming about.
Yeah. When 9/11 happened, I think the only one who claims that they knew it was coming was Alex Jones. But no one knew. It just happened. Finally, the pieces fell in place. Those with power decided to take action, and nobody knew it was coming. There was no date. There was no forecast,
Well, hey, Nostradamus was finally right too, huh?
Well, you give them long enough, yeah. So the way I look at it is anytime they give you a date, that probably means that it won't happen.
Yeah.
But I'm concerned about Taiwan and China. I'm concerned that the United States military is failing us. I'm concerned that Joe Biden is taking money from them. China's releasing that information. I don't think they're going to need to invade Taiwan. I think ultimately Taiwan is going to welcome them in. I don't know if you've heard that theory because I just made it up. Right? If the U.S. goes into a severe economic depression, which I think is more likely than China invading Taiwan, more imminent than China invading Taiwan, us entering a depression here in the next couple of years, I think Taiwan is going to change sides.
They're going to go to wherever there's the greatest demand and the greatest price for whatever products they're making.
Right.
The United States falls into some bad economic position and can't buy stuff from them anymore. They're going to switch sides to whoever's willing to pay them a fair price or a good price for their stuff.
We've seen that now with Saudi Arabia. We've seen that now with India. We've seen that now with Brazil. Now, in stark contrast to what's going on with Joe Biden, President Trump had a good relationship with President Modi of India. He was good with Bolsonaro in Brazil. And Russia, he tried being friends with Russia until the media just jumped all over that and destroyed it. But, it's the exact opposite. We're seeing the exact opposite approach, and these countries are leaving any relationship with the United States behind. India is part of the BRICS, and they couldn't give a shit anymore about the U.S.
Yeah.
Same with Brazil. India, folks, by the way, wants to sell their cars and trucks here, just like the Chinese do, just like Korea does and Japan does. They would love to sell their vehicles here, but the the clean air standards and requirements are just so stringent and they're not interested in doing that. They know that it ruins the fuel economy, and so they're like, why would we cost ourselves more money? They're not into the clean air crap. I don't think we want a dirty world, but I don't think they're buying the clean air crap.
No, and then you got to put so much stuff on it to meet safety standards and everything else that all of a sudden your car is not cheap anymore. And how much are you going to make on that? It's ridiculous.
Well, that's right. The clean air and then the safety standards that is required on American vehicles makes them unaffordable. People in emerging market economies and third world cannot afford these vehicles. And India is like, fuck it, then we'll just make what we want and we'll sell it to Brazil and Argentina and Paraguay and Sierra Leone and the Congo. They'll sell them all over the planet. So basically, we've priced and teched ourselves out of the market here in America.
Yeah, and then with all that other stuff that you have to add on to the cars, now you're killing the fuel efficiency and making them even less fuel efficient.
Right. Taiwan, back to that. At some point, the invasion could happen. I think that China will engage in red herrings to keep the American government and military second guessing them. And they use it for intel, for gathering information about the government and how it wants to operate. I think that it's a big game they're playing.
Yeah, they also gauge the temperature of the rest of the world and how they react to that kind of stuff. You know, are they coming back and rattling sabers back, or do they not give a shit? And if they do something, there's going to be no retaliation. There's a million reasons why they do this stuff. We're just never going to know about them.
Right, like the weather balloons that they let loose over America. How much did they learn about the government and the military and their ability to deal with them, and how to, react to them, how their ploy worked from the psychological perspective? The Chinese are not infantile or morons.
No, they learned that it costs many, many millions of dollars worth of missiles to take down that $100,000 balloon.
Right. And then that balloon may have only been 10,000, not 100,000.
Yeah, right.
And the reason I say that is if you are historically aware of aerospace technology and development, the Russians can build their jets and have their MiG fighters, their MiG jets they've been making were always 1/10 of the cost of the American version, or even less. They got high-tech performance out of low-tech approaches to things. And the Chinese, I think, have discovered quite a bit of that. Once again, do we need a jet to do all the things it does? Do you need all these heads-up displays and all these computers and all this? Is it necessary? Does it make you the ultimate? Yeah, but what does it do to the cost?
And the reliability and the serviceability and everything else. One jet can take over 2 or 3, but yeah, it costs 10 times as much. So You could have 10 regular ones, or you have to build 2 or 3 of these that cost 2, 3, 4, 5 times as much it was costing to do it the other way.
Was the F-22 the Raptor? Anyways, there's the Raptor. One of them that was being developed cost hundreds of billions of dollars, or maybe it was tens of billions of dollars to develop the technology. But the jets were grounded. They couldn't fly. They kept having problems. They couldn't even fly. Kind of like, the 737 Supermax or whatever kept crashing.
Right.
We haven't talked about that in forever, right?
The software problems couldn't overcome the design flaws, apparently.
Yeah, the computer controls couldn't overcome the aeronautical design flaws. Wow.
Yeah.
So there's our tax dollars and our money hard at work.
Yep.
Anyways, have we got more questions with everyone? Let's get back to that. Yeah, he's all right. He cut himself off. Thank you, man. Always fun talking with you, man. And keep an eye on China and Taiwan, but don't worry about it to the extent. Kind of like Japan issued a warning. Everyone take cover, because North Korea launched missiles again. But North Korea has launched missiles for years, and China's continued to issue threats over Taiwan for years. Still, one of these days they may invade. One of these days North Korea may have a missile that actually makes it to Japan and blows up. I guess we're going to find out, but between now and that time, don't lose too much sleep over it. Just remain aware. If it happens, I guarantee you'll hear about it. All right, man, who is next? We've got Cyber Hana, and it says, she asks, is there any truth to the rumor that a cyber hacking group called Killnet, who intentionally hacked into 60% of NATO, exposing all its members' data? Well. I heard about this. I don't know if it was Killnet, but there was a rumor / news story that came out that NATO and other governments were exposed. And this continues to happen. I mean, for years and years, I've heard about hackers who will break into a database, whether it's Social Security or your bank or a government bureaucracy, and they're like, oh my God, 200,000 people had their data taken and stolen. And then what? It's I've heard about this. Hacking members' data, exposing them, except no one ever gave me anyone else's name or number or information from this. I don't know who uses it. I have no idea. Anyways, thank you, CyberHana, for that. Is there any truth? I bet there's a lot of truth to it. Is it valuable or should it affect us on a daily basis? No, because if it did, you would know about it. Right? If you went to get money out of the ATM and it said, sorry, no money available, NATO hacking has caused this, you'd be like, aha, now I know the consequences of that. There we are. Ooh, man, who do we have next? We've got Chin Music. He says, John, there was a Hunter Biden sighting in Ireland, and Joe said he's proud of him. They really are just spitting in our faces at this point, aren't they? No fear of their own Department of Justice, I guess. Yeah, it's there's no fear on their side. No fear at all. Look at what they're doing. I mean, everything is blatant, right? A special teacher, someone from the LGBT crowd, and the LGBT crowd that likes to threaten mass murder and plan mass murder, and in some cases carry it out, not only on Christians and children, but their own type. That's right. Remember, their own type, their own group, according to Joe Rogan. Now, they'll kill anyone when they lose their shit. And they don't care. They say they're going to lie, cheat, and steal during elections, and they don't care. In fact, Joe Biden came out and said that he's put together the most comprehensive election fraud team ever. Yeah, they don't care. They don't. They really don't. I think that they might be nervous, though, a little bit from time to time, because every now and then one of them gets in trouble. Like FTX's Sam Bankman-Fried, right? That guy. He's now sitting in jail, and they'll let him, right, take the fall. He's the fall guy. All right, thank you, Chin. Always good hearing from you. Sense of humor, coupled with facts and interesting information. Always good. Okay, man, what do we got next? I know we're coming to the end of it, and we're coming to the end of the show today. We got Charles Gentry. He says, empires go to war before going broke. I'll say sometimes they do it at the same time. As they go broke, they go to war. He says, I just get the feeling that Joe Biden is going to get us into World War III, and then somehow Trump gets back in office. Great effort put forth by the American citizens. We got more on this one coming. And we fail. Our hero is forced to surrender to save a piece of America. A lot of different thoughts rolled into that statement there. Trump today said that he's got a comprehensive, big, giant plan for America to help save it. Part of it is going to be getting rid of, folks, all of the corrupt left-wing judges and prosecutors that are out there. I really hope that he does, folks. I would love to see that. If we're going to go down in flames, I would love to go down seeing our side fighting back. Yeah. If we could, let's put up Charles's first statement again, Mr. Uman. Joe Biden's going to get us into World War III. We're already in World War right now, 3 or 4, whatever number you want to put to it. It's just the war to fight it with tanks and bombs and missiles and troops is very, very expensive now. It's become more expensive because of the technology to fight a war. So there are other ways to fight a war. You do it with propaganda, which has always been around. You do it with spying, which has always been around. And you do it with the computer, which has not always been around. the cyber warfare, you bet. But I think probably the old school stuff is the most effective. Spies, traitors, turncoats. I mean, how did this young Air National Guardsman get top secret slides from the Pentagon and release them? Did he buy them? Did he find them on the sidewalk? Did he find a dead government courier laying in a ditch somewhere? And this young guy pried his briefcase open so that he could see what was inside? No telling, folks. But empires do go to war to cover up the fact that they are going broke or that they are broke. It's very common. They take you to war after they take all your money. Remember, money, wealth is not destroyed. Money and wealth is transferred from one group to another. Budweiser lost billions of dollars, huh? That's because investors took their money from Budweiser and put it somewhere else and said, Budweiser, we don't trust you with our money anymore as an investment. When the market collapses, it's because a bunch of people sold. And the difference, the delta between where it was when it started and then the collapse level, someone has that big chunk. That's their wealth, and they put it off to the side. It's not destroyed, it's just transferred. Housing market collapses, the houses are still there. They didn't collapse, but the valuation collapsed. And that means that prices go down and people are relieved of their value, the wealth. Interesting stuff. Are we all wrapped up, Mr. Uman? I know we're at the 1 hour, and 2 minute mark. Let's finish up here with Cyber Hana, and then we'll say our goodbyes. She writes, that psychology book of mental illness explicitly states anyone who imagines themselves as something else has a mental illness. I'm done pandering to this mental illness. Me too. Yes, you can go get psychology books. People that have identity issues and other types of dysphoria, including gender dysphoria, multiple personalities, personality disorders, they're all a type of mental illness. To say that they're normal is a disservice to those with the mental problems. To encourage them to continue the fantasy of believing the things they imagine about themselves, right? You're doing them a great disservice and the rest of the world. And putting them on cans of beer, that's just glamorizing it. They don't want me to glamorize violence. They don't want me to talk about medicine. And, they want to silence me and you, but they want to hold themselves out as experts and as something to be aspired to, a giant fruitcake. Anyways, here we are, folks. We're at the end of this hour. I want to say thank you to everyone. I want you to have a good night. Don't worry about China. We'll see what happens Sunday. We've had a lot of predictions about a lot of things coming next month. It's always next month. Don't let that get you down. Do what you need to do. Prep to action. Get your food. Get several months worth of food. Have self-defense. Be prepared up here with a plan to deal with problems that occur on your street. Everywhere else, folks, it's just for your understanding so you can help others wake up. But we've got a ways to go. This plane is still coming down for the big hard landing, right into Shitsville. That's what we got, folks. That's what we got. I'll tell you what. I'm going to wish you a good night. Semper Fi and Godspeed. Get prepared.